Yo, what's good? What's good? It's your boy Furious, aka POW, prisoner of war. I'm not doing no spinner. Get it off the screen. What's good? What's good, family? What's good? What's good? Uh, let's talk about No Jumper. Last night on No Jumper, Adam 22, my brother Urban Politicians TV, call him nigga needer 22 because he need black people for his little podcast. Apparently, his homeboy Lush had an interview yesterday and called two people. There's supposed to be two Crip members come up there because you know these white newscasters like to. I mean these white podcasters like to exploit black culture and gang culture. Uh, and people from the dominant society always want to exploit black people. You know that's why they put us in zoos. They like to get close enough to the action. No, they like to get close enough to the gorillas and the lions without actually being next to the gorillas and the lions. All right, that has always been their culture. They like to experience that danger, you know, while exploiting the animal. And I'm not calling us animals. I'm not calling us animals, but yeah, they always like to get close enough to the danger without actually being necessarily in the danger, and that's what these Adam 22s and these uh Vladimir TV and uh Trap Lord Clips. Even though Trap Lord Clips, he does have some very detailed videos, but it's still exploitive. It's all exploitive. Uh but yeah, apparently instead of two people coming up to No Jumper, 40 people came. 40 Crip members came to No Jumper uh yesterday. So Adam 22, he came out, made a statement, said he mad at his boy Lush. Lush is the Arabic looking co-host, or whatever descent he is. Uh yeah. 40 members tried to get into No Jumper yesterday. Um and Lush eventually called the police. All right. And because of that, the the members that came to No Jumper said that Adam 22 and Lush is banned from LA. You know? I guess they feel like, hey man, we came here 40 deep. Y'all supposed to still let us in. And Adam 22 wasn't feeling that. You know, I also think it could be something that got to do with Brick Baby and all that too. Something might it might be more to the story. Maybe Brick Baby feel like Adam 22 set him up or something. I don't know. Even though he went on there with his own will and self snitched on himself, him and Loose Cannon. But yeah, man, it's crazy out here, bro. It is crazy out here. I find it funny, and I don't mind them saying they're gonna ban the people that exploit us and all that. I'm not defending Adam 22, but I just find it funny that we be talking about checking in and who can come where and who could come here, and we don't really even own nothing, and we don't do it to the right. Uh, y'all doing it to the wrong white people. Y'all doing it to the podcasters. What about the white people that's gentrifying Compton, gentrifying y'all neighborhood? Y'all gonna tell them they can't come? They can't gentrify y'all? No, y'all just rather use that smoke with black people, you know? And this ain't gonna fly. They can only pull that you can't come to LA. Adam 22 got man, he a millionaire, bro. He a millionaire. He can get bodyguards. I'm sure he already got bodyguards, but he can get more bodyguards and more security, bro. And then on the other end, that's stupid to say that on camera because one of the Crip members said it on camera. He can't come to LA no more. Are you serious? You don't see all these RICO charges going to Big U and and other people, other rappers? The feds can swoop you up right now just because you said Adam 22 can't come in. That's the same thing that Big U is sitting in prison for. That's the same thing that Big U sitting in prison for, bro. Talking about who can come to LA and who can't come to LA. And don't own nothing, bro. I seen the video the other day of how they used to rob rappers in LA. Allegedly, Brick Baby. They used to have somebody waiting at the airport. All right, they used to have somebody waiting at the airport in LA, and whenever a rapper came through, they call up Brick Baby or call up whatever, whatever, whoopty whoop, and then they follow them to the hotel or whatever, and they shake them down, run them chains, which is the reason why P&B Rock died because they were shaking them down. You know what I mean? And I say that to say this, and that all goes back to the Pookie and Ray Ray mentality, man. We got to get that. I be on white supremacy head 24/7, 365 days in the leap year. But we got to get on these Pookie. We got to get on this Pookie and Ray Ray mentality, on that mindset, because the the glorifying machine is winning right now when it comes to the Pookie and Ray Ray mentality with our youth. A lot of our youth want to be rappers, right? Too many of our youth want to be rappers, and every time I turn on the internet, it's another rapper dead or had a shootout or in the hospital. So we just creating this culture. Well, we ain't creating it. We was kind of born into it, and they disguised it with hip hop and black culture, and they said, "Yeah, man, this is your culture now," and we just accepted it. You know, the whole mentality of posing with guns on social media, buying all these high artillery ammo guns, and you ain't buying it for white supremacy. Not that I want any type of war or violence against anybody. Uh, white supremacy is a system, but you would rather buy those guns for the people that look like you. Y'all grew up together. You and your ops, y'all grew up together. Miss Miller down the street used to babysit both of y'all. Now, because you represent the 32th 32nd Street and he represent 28th Street, y'all beefing and y'all ready to kill each other and rap about it on the song how you smoking this nigga, and even after he dead, you want to rap about how he got smoked. Like this is a real culture that's brewing. This is not like something a figment of my imagination. So I call it the Pookie and Ray Ray mentality because uh when they say if you say a lie long enough, if you tell a lie long enough, it'll become the truth. And I think they've been calling us so many names for so many years and so much brainwashing and social engineering that we trying to become the lie that they've been telling. You know, we finally are becoming the lie that they've been telling us we are. We is that we were savages, that we don't care about our own people. But luckily, we got FBA culture. We got the FBA movement, right? Which celebrates and uh, enhances, highlights the fine parts of our culture, foundational Black American culture, everything that we have cultivated and and grown throughout our time on this land, from being in slavery and turning America into a powerhouse from all the cotton and tobacco and stuff that we labored for, right? We made America a powerhouse. We fought in every American war. We was lied to. No reparations, no 40 acres and a mule, no restitution. But they did give the slave owners reparations, you know? So, yeah, man, we've been lied to. Um, Social media is the modern day minstrel show. And don't think that Pookie and Ray Ray is just a mentality of a man holding of a black man shooting another black man. Pookie and Ray mentality is also just in all of our mindsets, the way we interact with each other. Some of us, uh, gun is our podcast or our job or our wealth, and we use it to down other black men. All right. Why is unification so important? There was a time when the so-called black man was on top, right? Other people other people was bound at our feet. We cultivated, we circumnavigated this whole globe, right? But then the European man and the Asian man, they basically came up with an invention called the gun. And that gun was gonna change the hierarchy of where we are at today. So that one invention, the gun, and that's just my little theory. They had to they had to invent the gun because hand to hand combat, all we was gonna do is kick ass, take names, you know, feet and fists. Well, ain't nobody messing with us. You could just look at boxing and the UFC for that. You could just look at the eye test for that. So they had to create a gun. So when people say, well, why is unification so important? The reason why it's important is because we one invention away from changing the hierarchy of generations, of future generations, far and far. Sorry, I just got a text. Right. That's why unification is important. That's why you always see a black man creating how to uh, start up a car with air, or light up a whole village off of gas, or piss or something, or urine. Like, you always seeing melanated people creating inventions, and some of these melanated people eventually just disappear, quote unquote, wink wink. They disappear after they create these inventions. All right. That's because the dominant society know us better than we know us, and they know that we are always mentally, uh, naturally trying to create an invention that's gonna get us back on top. That's why they always trying to suppress all of our creativity and our imagination and our inventions. It used to be a old joke back in the day that the only thing the dominant society created was the patent office, and that was just to steal all of our inventions and all of our creativity. I'm gonna play a video. Let's get it. Lord, take my hand.
Who wrote it?
I wrote it.
All right, go ahead.
Lord, take my hand and lead me on. Lord, I'm tired, I can't go on. Lord, take my hand and lead me on. Lord, I'm tired, I can't go on. Lord, take my hand, cause I really don't think I can cope with this. I done been on probation and parole, I'm sick of it. Violated on some charges, but the court was pinning it. 8 years I had to flatten, but I wasn't messed up with it. Feeling for the word every day like I need a fix. It's the only way to discern the good and evil spirits. All fall short of your glory, but get right back up. I renew my mind quicker than I used to re-up. In control of my life, I know I could never be. You the driving little on me in the passenger seat, waiting for you to take me where it is I need to be, spiritually and physically. But I need you to take my hand and lead me on. Lord, I'm trying, I can't go on. Why is it that I know right from wrong, but instead I still choose to walk in Lucifer's shoes and not the likeness of you? No, it's better to not know the way to know and turn from you. But I'm stuck like Chuck, it's like adhesives on my shoe. But you the wheel, in the middle of the wheel, I know his ways. You can get me out this day, turn the book to another page. This chapter in my life is number misery and pain. If I'm sane, why ain't I changed? I think I'm mentally deranged. You got wonder-working powers, so I know that you can hear me and make me a soldier for you on the battlefield. No, you got a spot for me if only I just endure. Like I had cancer, but you're the cure. Lord, take my hand.
Where the spirit that has been implanted in us, we've taken to be us, and we've identified with it. That is why in defending ourselves, we end up defending the people who rule over us. In defending our ego, we end up maintaining the social structure that has destroyed our ego to begin with. And you see it in our youngsters, who will fight and kill in the name of respect. And fight because their egotistic orientation has been insulted. And therefore, in defending their ego, they do not kill the people who destroyed their ego. They kill each other. And maintain the one who destroyed them in the first place in power.
Rushing to the second crime scene, they discovered that the victim, 35-year-old Brandon Cooper, had been brutally executed in an assassination-style murder. With no suspects in sight, investigators tracked the stolen vehicle from the first crime scene to a house in southern Dayton View. Believing the two crimes were connected, officers arrested 4 teenagers, including 15-year-old DeTravon Mitchell and 15-year-old Tylen Peaks, who were brought to the Dayton Police Department for further questioning.
Tell me how we came into contact with you today, Mr. Peaks.
I woke up and I just seen SWAT team.
While detectives know that the teenagers have to be involved in the carjacking, since the stolen vehicle was found in their garage, they were now trying to determine whether they also played a role in Cooper's murder.
I'll be frank with you. I know you didn't go to sleep. That's not what happened. We expect you to be honest with us because we are honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you, so I prefer that you don't lie to me. When we ask you questions about what happened, know that we already know what happened. I'm seeing if you're going to be honest with me, and you haven't been so far. And we're right at the beginning, so that's kind of silly, right?
And you would be the first 15-year-old to catch adult charges for this kind of thing, okay? We got no charges for it. We're going to charge you for 2 counts of aggravated robbery and a count of aggravated murder. You're going to go get locked up this morning for 2 counts of aggravated robbery. You took 2 cars this morning.
Including DeTravon Mitchell, who had opened up to them much more easily just 4 hours earlier.
So tell me what happened tonight. How did you guys all get together?
They called me.
Say again?
They called me and asked me to come on.
We gotta go hit a lick. What was the plan?
I'm some girls.
Okay. What was the plan? Just take their car?
Yeah.
Okay. And who?
On the night of January 26, 2022, Tylen, DeTravon, and their friends Ray and Ron had booked a Lyft ride with the intent of stealing the vehicle. Though each suspect had a different story, detectives determined that the ride was booked using DeTravon Mitchell's phone at 12:30 a.m., with the armed carjacking taking place shortly after, at around 1 a.m.
How many guys were in the car? 2.
During the trial, both Tylen Peaks and DeTravon Mitchell were tried as adults due to the severity of their charges. Initially, Tylen pleaded not guilty, but as overwhelming evidence of his involvement surfaced, he later changed his plea to guilty. Similar to DeTravon Mitchell, Tylen was convicted on multiple charges. Although Tylen was never definitively linked to the fatal shots that killed Brandon Cooper, police records revealed that he had been involved in multiple similar robberies in the days leading up to the murder. These prior offences proved critical in court. As a result, Tylen Peaks was sentenced to 27 years to life in prison, while DeTravon Mitchell received 25 years to life. Ray and Ron.
Man, it's tough out here, man. Listen, man. Look, man. To all the young brothers out there, you can't do no crime now and not get caught. They got license plate readers. They got cameras on every store. All right? People, I would say about more than 50% of people today got Ring cameras on their house. Your phone gives off to the towers, so you're gonna have your phone with you more than likely, and because a lot of y'all ain't smart enough to even be doing anything that's gonna put you in a box for the rest of your life. So it ain't no way it really ain't no way you can even as they say, whack somebody in 2025. Yeah, you can do it, and it happens, but eventually you're gonna get caught because you wasn't even designed. See, a lot of you ninjas, y'all think y'all like are an anomaly or something. No, y'all was designed, man. Y'all was designed. We was conditioned, brainwashed, manufactured, designed. You know what I mean? They got a meme of Kevin Gates in the front row, and they said his net worth, and they put up his net worth, and they showed Jack Black, showed his net worth both sitting in the front row at the Lakers game, right? Jack Black, his net worth is beyond Kevin Gates. And I say it to say, we was this, Kevin Gates got all the jewelry on and all that, looking like a real nigga, looking like a real nigga. We was designed, man. We think we was like an anomaly or something, you know. A lot of us was designed. That's why you see niggas going to self snitch on themselves now on podcasts. All right. Oh man, I sold this, I did that. AR-Ab and Brick Baby, Loose Cannon. Because we was designed to do that type of stupid stuff and not even know what we doing. Right? We was designed, you was designed to kill another brother, but you ain't even designed to, they ain't even designed you to know how to do it the right way. These niggas be out here whacking somebody with a gun, with the same gun that they was posing with on Facebook or Instagram. Capital murder. Young nigga gonna get capital murder. He just whacked somebody with the same gun he was posing with on Facebook and Instagram. Capital murder. Police is not your friend. The police is not your friend. And that's rather, and I'm not giving bad advice or violent or incendiary advice. I'm just saying, whether you did it or not, police is not your friend. Because if somebody hurt my mama or my loved one, I don't want them to get any breaks from the law. I want them to go to jail. But if I'm looking at it just merely from a non-objective point of view, you're not supposed to be in there talking to them. You're supposed to be lawyer. Only seasoned, and I watch a lot of these type of shows and stuff, but only seasoned criminals know, lawyer. Not that I want any of these brothers to get off or escape the prison system because they my color. No, man. If you out there unaliving people that look like me, I don't want you to get no help, bro. I don't. Young, old, middle age. But looking at it objectively, it's just sad. Them brothers go in there, and some of them be like, "Hey, do I get to go home?" So you picked up your nuts and said you're gonna be a criminal, a thug with the blicky, and you don't even know the ins and outs of the law. You don't know how much you're gonna get for a specific crime. You don't know that if you break into a house with your boys and your boy killed the owner, I mean, and your boy unalived the owner, that y'all all gonna get, more than likely in most states, y'all all gonna get charged with murder because a person was unalive while he was committing the crime. So we was designed to kill our own people, but we wasn't even designed to not go to jail for it. Like, we was designed to unalive our people, be dumb enough to go right to jail, and now white supremacy got a 2-for-1 chicken and biscuit deal. White supremacy just got a 2-for-1 chicken, biscuit, macaroni and cheese, and coleslaw deal. Took out two of our people, sometimes 6 of our people. There's a lot of our brothers right now, young, in jail, gonna get out when they pushing the cane, walking with a cane. Probably don't even want to get out after that. That one brother Tay K, I ain't got his picture downloaded, but that one little brother Tay K, he just got 80 years on top of 55 years that he already got for unaliving one person and being complicit with the other unaliving of another person. So he got 55 years on top of 88 years. He might only have to do 60 years of that, But he gonna get he gonna get out as an old man. And we got a whole generation of young boys going to jail for that. But back to the design part, right? I don't want that to fly over your head. The design part. We was designed to unalive our own people, but not be smart enough to go to jail. Just like we was designed to be basketball players, football players, and not help out our community, right? We was designed to be politicians, but not help out our community. Like we was designed for certain things. You see what I'm saying? We was designed for certain things, man. A lot of things we was designed for as people. That's just counterproductive. You know what I mean? We was designed to vote, but not vote in our best interest. You see what I'm saying? If you really look at us, and that's why a lot of my content is about like just waking up and sending them subliminals in my intros and my outros. You know what I mean? Because I just noticed we was designed for a lot of stuff, and we just be walking zombies. And that's why I say the Matrix, because if you really look at the Matrix, the movie Matrix, a lot of the core children of Israel in the movie Matrix was black. All right, because if I'm not mistaken, the original story of the Matrix came from a old black woman. You know what I mean? But yeah, so, and that's what this picture is about, right? How we was designed, how we are designed to be counterproductive to our nature. Just think about that. Designed to kill, but not designed to get away with it. You got a 2 for 1. Designed to vote, but not designed to vote in your best interest. Designed to be the lead in consumer in designer clothes, but not the lead in consumer in black owned clothes. I mean, you can't make this up. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe. Death Before Bondage for all my platforms. X, I'm about to say Twitter, X, YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr, TikTok. All right? Design. Put that batteries in our back. You know what I mean? So look, let's go to the next topic, man. I just want to do a little quick show. This show is on my spirit. Let's go to the next topic. Real quick.
Timothy could have been what he wanted, but little Timmy like to hang on the corners. Damn, Timmy chose to play a persona. Damn shame, little Timmy, you're gone. Oh, Timmy Turner never had a burner, always knew I was the son of a gun. Niggas talk about it, but don't be about it soon as they see when they first wanna run. Pray for niggas that can be who they want. They live in hell like the air in their lungs, and back of their mind, they know that they front. Try to cover with the money and stunt. Y'all doing too much, enough is enough. Niggas watching too much show on the bluff, gassing you up until they pull up and then let it and dump about 10 off the pump. Hope to God I die as rich as a bum that make change every day for the ones that give a fuck about the people in slums. Cause first you'll be last and last you'll be one. Keeping it blunt, promise you niggas we weeding you out. The smoke you don't want, you know in your guts. All of your music's trash. Allow me to empty the Dutch, my nigga, what up? I can stand behind my bars. I eat a sentence for lunch. I'm not here to judge, but I can tell from all your jury. You niggas mentally cuffed, look guilty as fuck. Or as we supposed to be youngest, we call it Benjamin Button. Let's keep it 100. Y'all supposed to be teaching something. Niggas ain't preaching to nothing. This God body like a virtual son. Bread different, yeah, I came from the crumbs. Niggas looking like that nigga the one. Yo, Eric Jamal, that nigga the one. Oh, yeah, I'm the one, I chant myself. Think outside the box, I don't need no belt. Every punchline on the beat get felt, and I can't be beat till I beat myself. I rewrite rep, don't flip yourself. I'm a Rick Ghost Rider, go and get help. Everything a bar, so I know I'm gonna sell. Niggas looking at me like a nigga made, ooh, hold up, count that in cash. I'ma show you how you triple the bag. I remember every meal was a snack, and now we treating every meal like a stack. Way that we brag, we not talking popping no tags, so copping more shit than a badge. I know that I'm black. You think because that I rap, I should be dripping in fashion, living the fastest bar and buy me a jag. I'm a different type of cat, never lying when I rap. Small letters, no cap, 2 C's on my back. You ain't ask me how I been, don't ask me where I'm at. Coach Contra on the mat, real niggas that can rap, back. back. Nigga from EBT to the TIPs, told my POP, I'm a POP. On GOD, when I DIE, I'm a BIG like BAC. Or a good brother like NIP, keep going like ING. No END for all my MCs, RP. If you RP, nigga, it's the coast. Yeah, nigga.
Mr. Hurd was a very mean master. It was not liked by many of the slaves. Secretly, each one hated him. He whipped unmercifully, and in most cases unnecessarily. However, sometimes he found it hard to subdue some slaves who happened to have very high tempers. In the event this was the case, he would set a pack of hounds on them.
Miss Avery related to the writer the story told to her of Mr. Hurd's cruelty by her grandmother.
The facts were as follows. Every morning, grandmother would pray, and old man Hurd despised to hear anyone pray, saying they were only doing so that they might become free niggers. Just as sure as the sun rise, she would get a whipping, but this did not stop her prayers every morning before day. This particular time, Grandmother Sylvia was in a family way, and that morning she began to pray as usual. The master heard her and became so angry, he came to her cabin, seized and pulled her clothes from her body, tied her to a young sapling. He whipped her so brutally that her body was raw all over. When darkness fell, her husband cut her down from the tree during the day. He was afraid to go near her. Rather than go back to the cabin, she crawled on her knees to the woods, and her husband brought grease for her to grease her raw body. For 2 weeks the master hunted and could not find her. However, when he finally did, she had given birth to twins. The only thing that saved her was the fact that she was a midwife and always carried a small penknife which she used to cut the navel cord of the babies. After doing it,
I find it interesting. The most heartbreaking part about that video is her husband had to wait till nighttime to cut her down from the scapula, whatever they call it, from the tree, the stump, whatever. He had to, so he was so scared about going to help his wife in the daytime. That's how scared he was of Master. He had to wait till the nighttime just to help his wife. And mind you, the Master did all that to her while she was pregnant. You know, the stuff my people went through. It's kind of hard finding a way to make history appealing to our people sometimes. But if I went through what our people went through, I would want my descendants to at least seek out information and knowledge. Because if it wasn't for our ancestors, we wouldn't be here right now. All right. I got that. I did that video based off of the 1936 slave narratives, slave interviews. A lot of those people were kids during emancipation and the freeing of slaves. So they was able to give you a recollection of what slavery was like before and after slavery. A lot of them was 90 something, 100 or whatever. People lived longer back then. They wasn't eating all this processed bull crap and the air wasn't polluted, and that's a different story for a different day, ain't it? So I've read over 100 slave narratives, and some of the consistencies I see is, uh, well, a lot of the slaves referred to themselves as nigga or darky. Like a lot of them saw themselves through the eyes of the slave master. And sometimes I wonder, did that ever change? Do we still see ourselves through the eyes of them when I look at some of our behavior towards each other? Uh, Another consistency was the overseer. The overseer was usually the one that really did all the. I ain't gonna say usually because I still don't have that big of a capsule of data to say what it was, but I would say a lot of the interviews I read, the overseer was the prick, the a-hole. He was the one doing all the stuff, and the master would play. Sometimes the master would play the oh, Master Johnson, he's good, he better than most, because the overseer was the mean one. They was playing psychological games. Now, of course, there's an abundance of stories where the master was doing the torturing or doing the evil stuff, of course. But I see the overseer, you know, and that's just due to playing the psychological game. The person that's feeding you and clothing you. You know, you're gonna play that mental game with them, especially with our people. Uh, do I got the shoes? Do I got the shoes, baby? Brogan shoes. These Brogan shoes was the shoes of a lot of our ancestors, or a good number of them. Now these shoes are special, but not in a good way. See, these shoes, when you work a lot in them, because they don't have no cushion or no support or no real cotton, it peels the top of your feet off. Top of the couple layers of your epidermis, your skin on your feet. So a lot of our ancestors complained about how um they feet was basically screwed because the slave masters didn't even have the decency to give them some good shoes if they was gonna be out in the dang field all day. All right. Yeah. So that's another thing. The shoes. Um. What else? What else? If you was married, if you was married to somebody on another plantation, and a lot of them was, you could only see your wife on Thursday and Saturday. Right? Those are supposed to be like the least busy days or something to that nature. But it was Tuesday. Even if it wasn't Thursday, it was definitely Saturday. I can find it in my notes. So if you was married to somebody on another plantation, you only saw her 2 times a week. It's not like you saw her every day. And there's no guarantee that she wasn't gonna be sold from another plantation, or you was gonna be sold to another plantation and never see her again. All right. Uh a lot of the boys, a lot of the slave masters told the boy, uh, made the boys wear long shirts, right? Some believe that was to uh mess with our head as far as our gender and our dominance. So you a lot of the boys didn't get pants until they was old enough to be able to work on the cotton fields, right? So you just a boy walking around with a long shirt just like the girls is. Matter of fact, it was a TV show with Ethan Hawke. Hold on, let me get that TV show real quick. I got my other device. I gotta think. I just want to give that TV show a shout out. I was supposed to have that downloaded. I forgot about it. But it was a TV show where Ethan Hawke was a cowboy, and he was with a little black boy slave, and the little black boy had a dress on. Hold on, that's my wife. Yo, my bad, family. My wife had to tell me something about our neighbors. Uh, yeah, the boy weren't okay. Ethan Hawke. Let me get that TV show. It was on Showtime. Ethan Hawke cowboy TV show, Western TV show. Is that really? There you go. The Good Lord Bird. And the boy in that TV show had a dress on, but whatever. Uh, they did that in the South. Corn shucking. Corn shucking was something that we did for fun. It was really the only, to be honest with you, it was really the only things that we used to do for fun. Y'all seen them? I know y'all seen old movies and TV shows where they be dancing in circles around the corn. Uh, yeah, that was something that they did. They was able to go to church, but they wasn't able to read, and they wasn't able to actually pray because a lot of slave masters didn't want them to pray for any type of thing that was going to hurt their money or them. All right. So they ain't even want us to pray for help, you know. But they allowed us to be in the churches, if I'm not mistaken. I'm about to wrap this up. We got just a couple more. Uh, they gave us Christmas off. What else we got up here? Uh, oh, sometimes if you sometimes there was two reports of another slave killing another slave, and that slave, and then the master will slave master will handcuff that killer to the dead body. You know, so if you killed somebody, he'll handcuff you to that dead person because don't forget our lives was kind of valuable to them, even because they had insurance on us, and when we died, they had to pay and all types of penalty fees, and you know, and you was a laborer. I don't want to kill you. I need you to get out there now, beating you, torturing you, putting you through the uh worst things against that a human should never go. Nah, that's different. But they didn't really want to kill you. All right. So whenever a slave killed another slave, they had their own methods of that. Also, you know, they'll handcuff you to the dead body for a long periods of time. I just want you to imagine that. Just imagine that. All right. And and that would just cause a lot of friction. I'm sure there's a lot of tension on the plantation. So you know, it's still that Pookie and Ray Ray mentality started on the plantation because instead of putting your foot in the right people's ass, you're gonna put your foot in the guy that you should be planning to get out of there. Oh, another thing, there was black communities. There were free black communities during slavery. There were free black communities during slavery. Now, the percentages vary, right? But I did get, I think, 2 reference points from slaves that talked about a free black community around their neck of the woods. Raw and Bloody Bones was a story. Oh yeah, hold on. Before we go there, let me. Fort Most was one of the first free black settler colonies in America. It was in Florida. Just to give y'all a couple notes before I go to the next one. About 2 to 4% of the total population of the United States, while enslaved, people made up 21.5%. 95% of people were slaves. So it was a short number of people, short percentage of people that was free, that was black. All right. But you still got to have that conscious in your mind that there was. It's kind of like now, right? You got rich black people and you got poor black people. They damn near them wiped out the middle class black, but yeah, living in 2 different conditions. Now this is not the same as back then, but you know, something to think about. Okay, so now the book. Rawhead and Bloody Bones. Rawhead and Bloody Bones was a story, a forktale story back in the day. I think they said 1710. Did I download that? Don't worry about it. But yeah, and a lot of the that's not what I'm doing. In a lot of the slave masters, they use this story because when I tell you at least 7 interviews talked about this myth. They talked about, the master basically said, if you go out into the woods, the Rawhead and Bloody Bones gonna get you. And it was some grown people that was believing that. This is not something that they was telling the kids. So maybe they was telling the kids and the kids was just passing that story down to their kids. So when I tell you they've been using so much psychological, excuse my language, fucked up psychological bullshit on our people's brains, bro. And we still came out of slavery, with no reparations, no 40 acres and a mule, and we still thrive. And what they do, they came and burnt everything down. I guess they say, man, look, we enslaved these people, we beat these people, we psychologically screwed these people over, and they still coming out. And the black guy, his shoe shop is better than the white guy's shoe shop. It's even white people going to the black guy's shoe shop. They was pissed about that. Hold on. Because we just natural survivors, hustlers, salt of the earth. That's just who we is. You know what I mean? And I think that's pretty much everything. Okay. The mammies was healers, right? Only reason why they would ever call a doctor is if you was extremely sick. Other than that, the mammies and our people had all types of herbs. I mean, I think I read of over about 500 different herbs that I never even heard of that existed. But our people had so many different herbs. I mean, we had herbs for everything. We used to eat possums. We used to think that possums was sweet and sour barbecue chicken or lemon pepper wings. They used to talk about possum like that junk was a cuisine. I get so mad when I read some of this stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I get so mad when I read some of this stuff. Stuff that our people went through, bro. I'll be getting so pissed. Some of our ancestors, when they were scared to death of freedom. Especially you're gonna be scared when you see the damn slave masters getting the reparations and the money, and they still not giving you anything. So what did they do? They got free, and a lot of them didn't do nothing but hit a beeline on the block, circled the block, spent the block. All they did was spin the block right back to the slave master and say, "Yeah, boss, I know I'm free, but I ain't got nowhere to go." Huh? Oh, well, you can stay on my land, and I pay you, blah 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 blah. So it's all a game, man. They just been screwing our people over and over and over, and that's why this I call it the smartphone generation. That's why the smartphone generation is so important, and that's why you see them trying to erase Black history, because the smartphone generation, we are the people that can go into a room and have a meeting and put up all the pictures on the board of every year since our people got on here and say, okay, let's connect the dots. The smartphone generation can connect the dots. Our ancestors didn't have a smartphone in their pocket. If they would have had a smartphone in their pocket, they probably wouldn't even been slaves. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for us. But I'm about to get out of here. It's your boy Furious, aka POW, prisoner of war. I wear many hats, but never the cap. Follow me on Death Before Bondage on all my platforms, DB4B, SME. That's my sports media entertainment page on YouTube. I'm trying to get that up right now. The real's gonna feels and the fake gonna hate. I love y'all. Peace.
I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago. And I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from the ships, because they knew death was better than bondage.
Brought to you by Death Before Bondage.
I might be anywhere, but when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips that I am a revolutionary. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.